Welcome back to Marvel Maniac, an MCU after show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. Now, it is really good to be back here with you today, and I gotta say, it's been a little bit. It's been 2 weeks. I haven't seen you since Doctor Strange lost his heart. Yeah, it's been a little bit, and honestly, I needed some time to process that. When Doctor Strange lost his heart, I lost mine. When he shifted into that universe of his own, when he left this poor planet on it by itself in an alternate reality, pretty much. I mean, well, he didn't leave it. He was left alone. We all died. Technically, I've been missing a mic cord, and I've had some stuff going on. As simple as that. And it is my pleasure to be back here with you today, covering What If Zombies. And I am so excited to talk about this one with you. I have seen some things and heard some things, but we're going to go by every beat of the episode, reaction style, as we have in the past. And as you're going to get these episodes released very quickly, one after the other. I'm not sure how quickly as you're getting them, but you're going to get them very fast. The 2 What If episodes, 5 and 6. Very fast. What If Zombies in the following episode. And with that, we're going to get pretty fast into this episode. When the titles of the show are playing, does anyone else just get already a little nostalgic? I am the watcher and ponder the question. Done. What if? It's just... I love this show. This show, I'm already, the place I work, it's a nerd haven. I'm not gonna talk too much about it because I freaking love this place. So, I get to talk a lot about people, the show with people, and I get a lot of reception. But a lot of people like it, and let's just say that I feel like this show is gonna go down in history as one of the good ones, and I think it's going really well. I think it's shaping out to be a very good show. And, we start off with this episode. Hulk is being transported down to Earth. Very familiar. Very familiar. We've seen this scene before. And little did we know that the Zombies episode would be following along a plot line that I love. It's the Infinity War. What If Zombies is Infinity War over Infinity War? Chills. Yeah, and we are, the whole opening of Avengers Infinity War, I know what it's like to lose. That happened. All of it happened. Thor Ragnarok happened. Everything up to that moment. The Civil War, all of it. All of it has happened. The episode starts off with Bruce falling through the Sanctum Sanctorum, Doctor Strange's home, just as he does in Infinity War. And he's saying Thanos is coming, but this time the world just isn't the same. It's a different tone. We literally get mirroring shots of Infinity War, where the world's turned upside down. But the Watcher says the world he found was not the one he recognized. I love it. I feel like the zombie episode was so vaguely advertised. I feel like all we got was Captain America. We got images of the zombies, which is all we really needed, and then the Hawkeye going at Captain America zombie. We didn't know much of the story. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we got any Peter Parker and Doctor Strange's cape with zombies, like, in mixed promotion. I don't think that was known that they were in the same episode, which is kind of cool, too. So the only one to answer Bruce's call to Thanos is coming, which definitely rings to me like, hey, this is still gonna the whole episode. I'm thinking like this is definitely lingering in the background here. Thanos is definitely coming, but what is he coming to, and how is he gonna get it? But like, you're gonna forget about it in the midst of it'd be probably more fun as an audience maybe for me to have reacted to this one and not have known about the Thanos thing as we went, but it is kind of fun knowing because I mean what am I gonna really theorize here? Zombie Thanos is gonna rule over everything. What is he gonna do? I mean, I think it's a fun I don't know. I actually have no idea where they're going to go with that. But we are going to go beat to beat through this episode. I just think there's a lot of beats in this episode and a lot of great moments between characters who you never would have expected to got along or even seen each other. And I don't know if that's like preface to things that are to come or things that'll never happen. You know what I mean? Bruce goes out the front door, and instead of the bustling New York, there's nothing. And he realizes immediately it's just not the same. He asked, is he too late? I just love alternate reality Infinity War instantly. It's just so crazy that there'd be a zombie outbreak on Earth. To think that Thanos comes to Earth to a zombie outbreak. So yeah, the exact same way, except empty street. The ship pulls up. Ebony Maw and the big henchman. I know he has a name, but I'm forgetting it. The guy Thanos goes up against in the What If T'Challa Became Star-Lord episode. They land. Bruce says, come on, big guy. He tries to summon the Hulk, and he can't. It's mirroring realities to a T. And the show goes to great lengths to show us there is a fine line. We will go. The show will go so far to tell us that the reality will stay its course. That time will run its course. The objects, the people, the things, the people, the places, the things will get to the places they need to be, where and when they have to. They are absolute points. Absolute points is the biggest thing we've learned about in this show, and it's very valuable MCU canon. Hear me and rejoice, you're about to die at the hands of the children of... and what I find kind of funny about this is Bruce is going head-to-head with Ebony Maw, who he kind of did just go head-to-head with, but, he didn't at the same time. He remembered Thanos as Bruce, but who was really always Hulk, when he met Ebony Maw in Infinity War. So I guess it makes sense. Okay. But as Ebony Maw is saying this, we see the gauntlet of Iron Man pull out of a portal of Doctor Strange and or Wong. And it blasts Ebony Maw right in the face, and Bruce says, Tony, you guys are screwed. And it's very reminiscent of the moment in Infinity War where Thor arrives and he's like, you guys, you guys are screwed. Very similar. Saw that in one of the theory videos that I always mention. New Rockstars are Screen Crush. I gotta say, one of those guys. So it's Cole Obsidian and Ebony Maw, and they both rise as dead zombies, and literally Bruce notices that they're being eaten by Doctor Strange, Wong, and Tony, and he's freaked out. He says I can't believe it. Tony tries to fire his repulsor at Bruce, but the cloak of levitation comes in and swoops in and saves him and knocks Tony on the ground. He throws him into Cole Obsidian. Zombie Strange opens a portal, or at least tries, and then his own cloak seizes his wrist. Zombie Wong opens a portal in front of Bruce and almost gets him, but the cloak comes in and saves him again too, and pulls him back through his own portal and decapitates him. It's brutal. Maw grabs Bruce with his telekinesis and holds him in place in the air while the rest of them walk towards him to eat him. And just at that moment, all of them get swarmed up and eaten by a big group of flies or insects. It's very gross, very disgusting. Bruce is grossed out and freaked out. I am too. The music is very dramatic. Who comes in and saves the day and cuts off Iron Man's head and feeds it to her pet ants, giant pet ants? It's the Wasp, Hope Van Dyne. Yes. She is one of the last few survivors. She says, who are you? One of the last few left. I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Then what happened to the neighborhood? It's just very sad. And I'm reminiscing. Every time Peter says something hopeful, the Watcher comes in and kind of rains on that parade with a sad statement. The Watcher said, too many great catastrophes, this one sprang from a place of love and hope. So Hank Pym goes into the quantum realm to save his wife. She has, in this reality, a zombie virus instead of just existing there. And he gets bit and brings her back with her, and so on and so forth. All hell zombie apocalypse. I like how Scott Lang is the second bit out. It's just, Scott is really funny in this episode. Paul Rudd, major props for coming back. Within 24 hours, the entire Pacific Northwest was infected. And then we see a jet flying towards the Golden Gate Bridge. I rewound and watched this scene 8 times because it's actually really disturbing the more times you watch it, because you have to do the math. You have to put together what actually happened here. And the more times you do, the more it hurts. Okay, the Avengers step off the jet's ramp on the Golden Gate Bridge epically. Like, this happens really fast, but you can really put together what happened here. This is right in the middle of Civil War, so this kind of had to be the moment where Tony had to call Steve and unite the Avengers, or what was there of the Avengers. So Hawkeye, Nat, and T'Challa all had to come together pretty fast to unite to go to San Francisco and fight the zombies. And it didn't go well. Ironically, it was the Avengers' heroism that sealed humanity's fate. Tiny zombie Hank bit Cap in the neck very fast, and then they were overwhelmed. But in the scene, I feel like they could have very much strategically done this a lot better. But I feel like they made the Avengers maybe dumb in this universe. I don't know. I feel like our Avengers could have fought them much better. But it hurt to see them fought and defeated so easily and so quick like that. The Watcher says, once the Earth's mightiest heroes joined the infected, no one else stood a chance unless they knew the rules. So you want to survive the zombie apocalypse, and it's Peter Parker, of course. And Peter has a little book for us. Well, not really a book. It's a visual diary. And the team that we have assembled here, it's not quite the Avengers. But we get what we can. And some are great, some are not so great. Our first entry is Happy Hogan. He's wearing a shirt that says, "I'm not single, I'm saving myself for Thor," which I love. I really like the way Peter is just innocently the innocent leader of the Avengers thrown into this he's the Guardian of New York, and he's so optimistic. So step 1 in the rules is long sleeves. So as we're doing these rules, we're getting introductions to characters, reintroductions to characters. So this is Kurt, resident weirdo, and he's from Ant-Man and the Wasp, or I don't know if you remember from the Ant-Man movies. He's a funny character, really good, and actually it's really good to have him back, and hilarious. He's coming to eat Happy's arm, but it's actually a real tip that the less skin you're showing, the less there is to bite. Step 2, hygiene. Zombies are attracted to the smell of human and flesh, and Peter and Kurt are in a shower room, and they are literally busting in on Bucky while taking a shower, and Bucky does not take kindly to this. He grasped Kurt by the throat, and his hair swooshes in the wind majestically like that of an eagle, or eagles don't have hair, like that of he's in his prime hair phase, Bucky. He's got really great hair. The apocalypse doesn't stop the hair on Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. This is the mad breakdown you've been waiting for on Marvel Maniac. My breakdown on Bucky Barnes' hair. I actually have it paused on the screen where it's showing Bucky, and in between Bucky Barnes, it says silent but deadly. I bet you Kurt threw that in there. I don't know. He's doing the video editing, I think. So, what a goofball that Kurt. I don't think it was Happy. Sharon Carter. Skills, spycraft, first aid, eulogies. Now, if you've watched The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you know what I know. And spoilers for The Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's hard to say, and that's all I'll say. You might have some mixed feelings on this character, and though, and I won't say much more. However, though we don't, in this point in the timeline, post-Civil War, pre-Infinity War. We don't know where this character's intentions lie, and I think we are to learn much more about Sharon Carter in the MCU going forward. What an interesting human. And I love her in this episode too. It's good to have her in the group. Step 3, always aim for the head. That's the only way to kill him. So basic zombie killing rules. Very reminiscent of Zombieland. Okoye shows up and stops the orientation that Peter is giving Banner. So it's Banner is the one that has actually been watching the video with us and doing an orientation. Banner is wearing what looks to be Hawkeye's outfit. But then upon further examination, I really do think that it's actually something from the Doctor Strange Sanctorum, or something from the training area of his dojo, or I don't know, of Doctor Strange. So he picked that up at the Doctor Strange thing. He was looking for something to wear, and he got it there. And it's a very unique look for him, and it's kind of iconic for him in this episode. Anyways, enough about what they're wearing. General Okoye introduces herself to Banner, and he tells her it's a heck of a time to. She says that she swore an oath and that her king, aka T'Challa, went missing with the Avengers weeks ago, and for the first time since the outbreak, that she actually has a reason to hope. So she tells them a beacon just came in over the wires, and they start to move through what appears to be trains, suspended in mid-air by dozens of webs in between buildings. It's really crafty. The zombies are not getting up there to get them. So we find out that another survivor camp claims to have made progress on a cure for the zombie apocalypse. A cure. Peter is ecstatic. He says the global crisis is solved. He's looking for high fives all around. Bucky says not quite. The beacon has been corrupted in transit, and they're not sure where it came from. So it could be a trap. Could be a trap. Bruce says it could be a non-linear hexacode, which whatever the heck that means. And Agent Carter says it's Camp Lehigh in New Jersey, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s first base of operations. To which she also says it could have what they need to fabricate a cure. To this day, I say Jon Favreau instead of Happy sometimes, and that's just because he is the same guy, basically. So he says, just when things couldn't get worse, you got to go to Jersey. Great moment. I'm not making this joke, but it was Screen Crusher. It was New Rock Stars that were like, and a very flattering animated version of Jon Favreau, and it is like kind of a flattering version of him. But it's really good that he's back in it too. The fact that they get so much of the cast together, assembled, it's almost like a different type of an Avengers movie in this episode for Infinity War, and it's such a unique cast that it works, and these relationships that the characters have. But and there's almost another Uncle Ben moment with Peter, with Happy dying, but it's kind of funny when he dies because he's happy and he's shooting the Iron Man gauntlet and making noises with his mouth. It's like bam, 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 and even Sharon Carter's making fun of him just before he does it, and then he dies. And he becomes a zombie. This episode's got a lot of lighthearted moments because it's zombies. The episode's not called "What If the World Was Overturned by Zombies Dramatically." Like, the episode's called "What If Zombies?" It's like, come on, like, let's have some fun here, people. It's Marvel Zombies. It's Iron Man as a zombie and Captain America as a zombie. And I think I need to come to realize that too. It's like, this is just a big bunch of fun. And this episode is nuts. It's just nuts. And I did get a little bit ahead of myself. I mean, Happy does get grappled by a special zombie. It is the Hawkeye zombie. Sharon gets hit by one of his arrows, and then the Hawkeye zombie, joined by the Happy zombie, starts stomping towards her. She tries to reach towards her gun. Meanwhile, in the terminal, Falcon sweeps towards Okoye, and she jumps onto his back. Just literally swoops up onto his back. Zombie Happy is better at firing the repulsor than non-Zombie Happy, and he almost hits Sharon with it. Okoye jumps off of Falcon literally just in time before she gets smashed in the face by a wall. Just as Happy is about to get Sharon with the repulsor, she gets the repulsor back on him, and she apologizes as she's doing it. He blows his own face off with the repulsor. Not so happy. Hawkeye continues firing her, though, and she says blam to him, by the way, like his joke. Like his bam, 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 bam. I didn't think it was super funny because she just killed him. And he just died. Zombie Falcon bears down on Bucky, and Okoye slams down on him and splits him in half. The most graphic kill in the episode. You actually see him split in half. It's just he's blurred out. And Okoye says, "That was your friend. Sorry about that." And the most genuine reply leads to the funniest beat in the episode. Genuine funniest beat in the episode. I should be sad, but I'm not. Like, genuine. Like, he just doesn't care about Sam. And, like, I don't know. It's just hilarious, man. Like, have you seen The Falcon and Winter Soldier? They build a big relationship, but they go a long way as friends in that episode, in that series. And I think they will go even a further way in the fourth Captain America movie. I should be sad, but I'm not. He gets murdered in front of him. It's brutal. It's a brutal joke. It's dark humor. This episode's really dark. It's really dark. So in honor, I guess, of Happy, Sharon dons the repulsor of Happy, and she leaves. Peter finally strains enough pressure to get 4,000 pounds of thrust here. He's got it, and he's ready to get the train moving. Just as Peter is about to get the train launched, a whole wave of zombies are walking up behind him. And, I mean, in this universe, anything can happen, so we might see Spider-Man eaten alive by zombies. But no, the cape, cloak of levitation, swoops in. This is kind of our extra hero MVP in the episode. I didn't know. I didn't know this was gonna happen. Yeah, I love that. I love how he swooped in and swooped the zombies away. It was sick. Banner cheers him on. Heck yeah, Cape! I love it. Banner's always on the sideline, kind of giving a little bit of motivation for the heroes if he's not able to be Hulk. That is a constant in all timelines. Now we get some pure Wasp action. She is going at it. She shrinks down and goes into like 8 zombies. Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Zombies are exploding as the Wasp flies through them. Micro size. We see them from our perspective as a normal sized person. So zombies just exploding. Then we see from her perspective, her flying into zombies micro size. She gets the front of the train hooked up. Okoye says we're all here, go, and they let the train loose and let her roll. Peter gets knocked back, and there's zombies surrounding him, and again, the cape saves him, and the cape actually puts itself on Peter's back. Hope tells Peter that it's a good look on him, and he asks if she thinks he could pull it off, and she says maybe you'll grow into it, which is kind of like a foreshadowing thing, which makes me really curious as to, like, are they going to continue this story as a Doctor Strange Peter Parker? Or with the Peter Parker with the cape? Very curious. Interesting stuff here. Also, this cape on Peter is sick and really cool looking, and I didn't know how much I needed or wanted to see that, and it's really, really cool. I like it. Okoye apologizes for not staying together. That was kind of an endearing moment. Sharon is at the back of the train looking at the city as it departs, and you kind of think we're going to have another endearing moment after another endearing moment, and the show's slowing down, and you're gonna follow that for a second. But no, we are gonna bump into Zombie Captain America. I mean, that is not how it is revealed to you or me, the audience member. Sharon gets knocked on her butt, and Bucky has to come running through the train to come save her and see what's up. And then Bucky confronts Zombie Captain America. And this is the big moment, showdown moment we've been waiting for. He says, I think you've had enough, Cap. Zombie Captain America is disgusting, creepy, and it's loathing and horrible. How did he make his way? How did he make his way over to New York? How did he make his way from San Francisco to New York? I'm guessing that the zombie Avengers were smart enough to assemble, is what I'm guessing, because that's what happened. That's what the Watcher said. Well, Earth's mightiest heroes were smart enough. They were smart. Like, they know how to use their weapons. So the portals of Doctor Strange, they would gather the Avengers. They threw zombie Captain America at people via portals, I'm guessing. That's my canon. And had canon. Anyway, zombie Captain America charges at Bucky super fast. Like zombie speed, Captain Zombie America. He's insane. And Bucky goes right back at him. He starts shooting right at him, charging it. He knows what this shield can do, though. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Bucky charges back. They meet in the center of the car. Cap tries to bite Bucky. Bucky gives him a couple of good punches and knocking him right on his back. He knocks him right back. And then we see Zombie Sharon come up and rise at Bucky's side, and he just shoves her right away. It's kind of sad, but anyway, it's kind of sad how they just make people zombies so instantly without any telling or warning. The Wasp goes into Sharon's mouth, I think just to save herself and not get bitten. Cap lunges the shield at Bucky, in which Bucky catches it, throws it back at Cap, and it splits him into two. And he just completely falls apart. The two pieces tumble out onto the track. Sorry, pal, I guess that's the end of the line. That's a traumatic callback to an earlier line between the two friends. With you till the end of the line, pal. Oh my gosh. Dark episode, like I said. But as are zombie shows. And Marvel's trying to take on another genre with this. And it's off, and it is based off of a comic series by the same name. So, interesting. He puts the shield on his back and turns to Zombie Sharon. Putting the shield on and donning the shield is a very sick element of the episode. It's very cool how these heroes take on other elements of other heroes. But more so, the fact that Bucky is taking on Captain America is something I think the fans really like and adore and have wanted and would love. And the fact that it takes a zombie apocalypse for Bucky to become Captain America, that's kind of sad, but it's necessary considering all the lives he's ruined. But anyway, not by choice. Not by choice. The Wasp explodes out of Sharon, disgustingly, zombie Sharon. Ew. She says she's covered in Sharon. They use blue color for what I assume to be blood. I wonder if they're just using blue instead of red. I mean, duh. I just don't understand if somebody's gonna just go in and reanimate this in all blood, so we can see what it looked like in really gory red for all the zombie, bloody, gory zombie-ness of this, because that would be a little more real, I think. I wish Marvel could do that, because that's what this is. I mean, this is a zombie apocalypse. We're with Michonne. Other comic book universe. I don't know if the multiverse extends that far into the Robert Kirkman verse. So she had a cut on her shoulder that Bruce points out. So she was pretty much tiny inside of Sharon, and she has a cut on her shoulder, meaning she's infected. She's completely infected, and that rings no good for the Wasp. We get a wonderful shot of the Watcher doing what he does best, watching over the train, riding over a hill on the countryside. It's a sunset over mountains. How about the visuals on this show? I watched some Studio Ghibli recently, and some of the visuals on this show do a great job of drawing you in. Bruce examines Hope, and he says her heart rate's elevated, and her temperature's going up the wrong way, obviously. She says, then you know what we have to do, and then Okoye says, no, we could be minutes away from a cure. She says, can we really take that risk? And Peter says, it's not risk, it's hope. And then we kind of start to see like the real relationship that these two kind of have built during this thing. And anyone that's seen a zombie movie that knows that's the key to survival. Plus, it's also your name, and that's got to mean something. She says, okay, how do you do it? See all these movies? AV Club. I love the like the stereotypes of the zombie movies, and like the kind of, it is a very similar to Zombieland, as New Rockstars did point out. This Peter Parker rules of the dead Zombieland. It's very Zombieland. If you've never seen that, it's a great movie. You should watch it. She asks, how do you stay so upbeat after everything? He says, practice. My mom, dad, Uncle Ben, Mr. Stark. Now happy. You know, he's lost a lot. I always said Tony's going to be early on his Uncle Ben moment in the MCU, and obviously it was. Even early on it would be, because he lost him at the beginning of Infinity. I mean, technically it would be around the same time he became zombie Iron Man, and he would have lost his mentor. And this is a darker timeline. But as his Aunt May says, or used to say, that if we don't keep smiling, they'd want us to keep going. And everyone touches each other's shoulders. Like Peter touches Hope's, Bruce touches Peter's, and then we find out they're running out of fuel. So they run out of fuel in a not so great place. They look out at a horde of zombies that they're going to have to walk through. It is the greatest horde of zombies you can imagine, and yeah, they don't know what they're going to do necessarily yet until there's a suggestion, and it is about the best suggestion you could have imagined. Until, you know, I would imagine that Hope had a little more sense to, like, I don't know, shrink herself down at the end of this, like, so she didn't become a giant. Okoye says, we will not make it through them, and Hope says, well, you will make it over them. Hope takes a lot of blame for this, and because, I mean, it's an alternate version of Ant-Man and the Wasp, where the mother didn't come back and a zombie did, and in a split second, just like the Watcher says, reality will break. And this technically isn't her fault. I mean, it is and it isn't. And if this didn't happen, reality would have played out, and she would have been snapped away, and no one would have thought the less. We wouldn't really know what's going on with Wasp really as much right now. We just would have gotten to see her snap back, kick ass, and we were waiting for the next sequel. But in this reality, she takes the weight of the zombie apocalypse because of the events of this reality. It's just by chance. By chance, something terrible happened, and all of reality is breaking because of it. And this is the reality that the Wasp has to become a giant wasp and take the blame, she feels. And it's just in the heart of a living being. They feel the need to take the weight of a responsibility upon themselves and sacrifice themselves. And that's not an alternate reality. That's the soul of a living human. That breaks my living heart. Oh, man. There's deep, complex emotions mixed in with this Marvel stuff, guys. Bruce tells Hope it's not her fault. She says, I was so obsessed with bringing my mom back that I never thought about what I bring back with her. So she explodes out of the building, and it has dramatic music playing while she does it, so there's no noise when she's doing it. It's just a very dramatic scene until she slowly lets them out of her hand and falls back onto the zombies. And I realize that maybe she stayed big so they can, like, she can distract most of the zombies, maybe, to eat her while they get away. Maybe that was her plan. But I think that maybe she becomes smaller again so she didn't become a giant zombie. But I don't know. I assume she always had the best intentions. So once they're on the other side of the fence, it's pointed out that they could be rushed by all the zombies, but they're not being rushed by all the zombies. There's a giant hole in the fence that the zombies could be getting through, and they're not. And Kurt is warning them of Baba Yaga. And just as he's warning them and freaking out, he gets jump scared by Peter. And Peter's apologizing for this, and just as Peter's apologizing for the jump scare, he gets jump scared by Vision. Bruce tells Vision that he has no idea how good it is to see a familiar face and not a half-eaten one, and Vision reminds Bruce that androids are not on the menu. But Vision is very eerie from the bat. Vision is very disturbing and very disturbed. He's not the same. So Vision explains in his giant base that the Mind Stone emits something that the zombies don't like, that pushes the zombies away. Vision says that he experimented with the Mind Stone in an attempt to reverse the effects and try to heal the zombies, and what we get is a reverse healed Scott Lang, well, the head of him, and everyone's very shocked to see this, including me. Yeah, we get Paul Rudd back for a bit, and it's hilarious. He says, "I know what you're thinking. I've lost weight." His head is just floating in a jar, similar to what I remember Futurama. I haven't seen a lot of Futurama, but I know that in the future, that's what they have going on. Scott gets immediately sentimental about Hank Pym, and he says what he wouldn't give to get chewed out by that old grump one last time. So Vision says he can cure him, which leads Peter to say you can cure others, and this is what kind of gets everyone hyped up. And they start to make a plan to go to Wakanda to broadcast the Mind Stone via satellite signal to heal all the zombies. And this doesn't sound too good to Vision. He keeps saying we don't have the technology to do this, but that's when the idea to go to Wakanda was brought up. And Bucky says, "I'll get us a transport." And Vision says under his breath that you're not going to find the transport. And Bucky does go to look for it, but he doesn't find transport. He finds King T'Challa, Black Panther. He says, "We don't have much time. We have to run now." When Bucky asks, "Who did this to you?" Bucky helps T'Challa past Wanda in her cage, zombie Wanda. And she is angry and freaking powerful. "I'm sorry, Dr. Banner. I really do wish you hadn't found us." Is that really true, though? If he was putting out these signals? He says, "Vision, what the hell is this place?" And T'Challa says, "A trap." He says the Vision grabbed him in San Francisco and he thought he was getting saved by Vision, but no, he got kidnapped by him. He says he's been keeping him alive to feed his zombie bride. And Scott says, "That goth chick, I knew it. I was picking up vibes." That's so good. Vision says her name is Wanda, and while your anger is predictable, I can assure you that my actions, though unsavory, were nevertheless born of logic. And Vision is so sure of himself up until the end here. Peter asks why he cured the talking head and not her, and Vision says her powers are too strong and they've resisted the treatment. The only course of action is to contain her and her hunger. Okoye asks why not eliminate her, and he doesn't have a good answer. Bruce says, "You lured innocent people to their deaths all in the name of love." And Scott says, "Love sucks." Vision says, "I still cannot entirely fathom what I've done." And Okoye is so angry. She says, "So you should have no problem submitting to human justice." And just as she's charging at him, she gets frozen. And he says, "You have awakened her." And his face drops. And he looks at the door and he says, "She hasn't eaten in days." The door glows red and completely blasts off, and it's zombie Scarlet Witch standing in the frame of the door. Wanda is scary. It's terrifying. Kurt's greatest fear of all time, it's Baba Yaga in the flesh, and she gets him. Bucky fires at Scarlet Witch, who uses the giant metal door as a shield and then throws it back at him. Scott is so close to falling off the chair and the cloak catches him. So Scott is worthy of the cloak, I guess. The cloak of levitation comes in clutch this episode. Scott says, thanks to the cloak, and he says he feels like he's back at prom. Peter jumps in and webs up Scarlet Witch very good. He does a fantastic job. He does a good roll in too, and we get to see a little Spidey action for a change. We don't get quite enough of it in the episode. My only criticism. So this Vision, this universe's Vision, is just as madly in love with Wanda as every universe's Vision, and That is the beautiful tale of Wanda and Vision, and the tragic tale, and I could cry talking about it. WandaVision is a great show, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it. It's the first show we've covered here on Marvel Maniac, and genuinely, I love that show. And this is just an emphasis on how much Vision loves Wanda and how much she loves him back. But Bruce literally looks up at the situation. Okoye throws her spear at Wanda, and she just dissolves it into nothingness. They are in dire straits. Bucky's on his knee with the shield, blocking the energy. Bruce looks at Vision in the eyes. And if you think back, Bruce had a big part in the making of Vision, with Ultron and the making of, so he says, Vision, we need your help here. Get us out of here. So he sees the sphere dissolved by Okoye, and he looks up at Wanda, and he looks back at Bruce, and he says, yes, Doctor, I believe you're right. And he uses the Mind Stone to blast a hole through the door for our heroes to escape, finally. So this Vision isn't all bad. He's misled. He's misguided. Love will make you do crazy things, like betray your friends to feed your crazy zombie Scarlet Witch, so she can stay alive and not die, and be fed. It's crazy. He's scary. As they're leaving the facility, Scott is with the cape, and he's like, Wingardium Leviosa, Harry Potter reference. Hell yeah. Scarlet Witch gets Okoye right at the end. She pulls her back in and says, my king, and looks at Black Panther and says, Wakanda forever, and gets pulled in by Scarlet Witch. Unbelievable. I can't take too many deaths. Vision uses the Mind Stone to cut around the perimeter of the building until it caves in. But I imagine sending it deep into the ground, burying Scarlet Witch zombie. Vision says they haven't much time. There's a quad jet in the hangar, and Bruce asks if they're coming with. And if he's coming with, and he says, no, I must atone for what I've done. And he literally rips the Mind Stone out of his head. How many times do we have to watch Paul Bettany as Vision? Or how many times do we have to watch Vision brutally die on screen? How many times will we watch Vision be hurt this bad? This was hard to watch. This was one of the saddest ones, because you'd think about how we know how Wanda feels about Vision dying, obviously. So to think about how alone Vision is in all this in the world, trying so hard for Wanda, and all at the end of all of it, he's doing everything he can just to be with her. That's tragic. And he rips the stone out and gives it to them. The second he rips the stone out, obviously, it emits a giant burst of bright light, and it unleashes the giant horde of zombies that are surrounding the group. Bruce picks up the Mind Stone off the ground, and just as he does so, Scarlet Witch bursts up out of the rubble. Bucky does everything he can to fight the Scarlet Witch. While she's analyzing Vision's body, then realizes he's dead. She melts the bullets that Bucky fires at her, and sends them back at him. And he uses the shield to deflect. And yeah, it's scary. It's scary because Bucky doesn't deserve to die, but he gets flown across the airfield. There are a few good cliffhanger moments in this episode that make you wonder if there's going to be how will there be a follow-up to this episode, if there will be, I wonder. Scarlet Witch jumps Bruce Banner just as he's opening the hangar, and his Hulk arm saves him. Peter asks Black Panther if he can fly the jet, and he's trying to get it to boot up, and he's having trouble. Scott says impending doom on R6. So Peter and Bruce have this really great moment that really reminds me a lot of Tony and Peter's in Infinity War, and I love this. I love this moment. It's one of the best in the episodes, and it's where Bruce is about to go out and say, I think I'll buy you some time, and he's building the confidence to become the Hulk again, to go save them, to get where they can get out of the hangar. And Peter says, no, I don't think you can do this. I can't lose someone else today. I can't lose another person today. Spider-Man's lost so many people in this, and the way Banner hands Peter the Mind Stone, and he says, "Avenge us." He makes Spider-Man an Avenger, and Bruce steps outside, and Spider-Man says, "Yeah," and Spider-Man believes it. It's just like, it's kind of like when Iron Man ignites him. You're an Avenger now on the ship, because he didn't have that moment up to this point in the universe, technically, right? Because Infinity War happening right now, so this is that moment, and they're off to fight Thanos. Technically, I mean, you'd think the Thanos of this episode is Scarlet Witch, but we do end up seeing the guy again, T.J. Dustin. Another great Thanos variant cameo. As I'd say, we'd be seeing many variants of Thanos throughout the MCU. This is just one of the many zombie Thanos. It's so good to see Thanos in one of his many forms. But that's in a few seconds. So we get Bruce speaking to the Hulk as he's running to this giant horde of zombies, literally knocking even Walking Dead hordes out of the water. He's saying, "Okay, big guy, kind of counting on you here. Things are kind of bad. It'd be nice for you to be the hero, to be the nice one." And he charges in to the crowd of zombies. And, Hulk needs to come out in this universe. He can't turn into Professor Banner. Another sign of things to come, possible things to come. The Hulk isn't gone indefinitely after he gets in the fight with Thanos. It's not impossible for Banner to push Hulk out under extreme circumstances again. This says that. This actually says that. This full on says that. What he went through to change him into Professor Hulk was that fight with Thanos, that fist fight. And he went through that in this universe. And now he is back to full on Hulk. The Hulk and Scarlet Witch go at each other, and it is just so insanely badass and heroic. The heroics in this are mad. And as they're flying away, what do you think we're going to see? Giant zombie Hope blocking their path. Scott looks down into her eyes. He's very surprised. Black Panther engages the thrusters to get out of this, and they actually get away. Peter says he's sorry, and she gave her life so we can get the cure. Scott says, "That's twice she saved me. That's very Hope." ETA 20 minutes, Black Panther says, and this is Scott. "We'll put another W on the board for the Avengers." Oh my goodness. Scott Lang. The comedic relief needed in this episode at this moment. We got Black Panther and we got Spider-Man, and we got the head of Ant-Man with Doctor Strange's cloak. That's all we got left in the universe right now. In this universe. No other Hope. Well, technically the Guardians of the Galaxy. Minus Gamora. Right? And that's it. No, Thor. Thor is there too. Thor is out there too. Peter says, "Last year, Mr. Stark asked me to join the Avengers. I turned him down, and they're all gone, and I'm still here." T'Challa responds, "In my culture, death is not the end. They are still with us as long as we do not forget them." And then Scott says, "Plus you still got me." And Spider-Man's like, "Oh yeah, you're an Avenger, right?" Like at this point in the movie, like they fought at the airport. Dude, I like this episode a lot. This is such a good episode. And Peter's like, I forgot you were an Avenger. And he's like, "Yeah, I am at heart." And then an endearing moment, T'Challa's like, "Good, the world could use a little heart right now." What a good trio. What a good group we got here. This has sequel potential. This has a whole other episode potential. Because Peter says, "And once we get this to Wakanda, we're going to save the world." He holds the Mind Stone in his hand, and it pans out to them flying the jet. The Watcher says, "Even in the darkest of times, humans will give all to save their planet." We see zombies clawing on the outside of Wakanda's force field, and the Watcher says, "Even if it might bring an end to the universe." Inside, we see zombie Thanos. There he is. He has all 5 Infinity Stones. We got soul, we got reality, we got space, we got power, we got time. How did he get the Doctor Strange stone? I'd like to imagine that he's a zombie now. He must have went into New York and got it. He must have I imagine he went to Titan. I like to think of him. I like to imagine. I've seen Infinity War so many times. Everything played out so similarly on his journey. And all the places that the Avengers weren't, he sought out. Like, he went to Titan and the Guardians were there. And he demolished the Guardians. He had to have. And, I don't know what's about to happen here. I think Thor and Rocket and Groot could arrive here at this scene with Thanos, and along with Peter T'Challa and Scott. And I think they may even get to the beacon. They could even get to the beacon without even knowing Thanos is there. But it's interesting because I always imagined the zombies in general, before I saw this episode, they have less consciousness, but they're way more aware of their abilities. They're more demons in a sense, like where they kind of can control their actions. It's very interesting. But Thanos zombie, I don't know what he's gonna do. It's interesting, very interesting. This episode was a solid, crazy mind twister. It was fun. It was a fun thrill ride, a horror movie, but also something you could talk about for days, because that's what Marvel does. It will take you on a journey, and it doesn't want you to feel, it's a little out of my comfort zone, because I will say this is mirroring one of my favorite movies of all time. So I love that movie. So to think that they're breaking that formula, it's very risky, but it's also really fun. It is a blast in a can. So yeah, what an episode. What did you think? What did you think about this episode? Let us know. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. And we are on all your social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, @MarvelManiacPod. We want to hear from you. We as in me. My name's Eric, aka Mr. Honest, and it's been really great to have you here today. If you'd like to donate to the show, best place would be paypal.me/MarvelManiacPod. Now that's subject to change, so if you're looking to donate to the show, check the description. That is likely to change, and it does go a long way. I'm currently working, so people are asking like if the episode's not going up the exact night or the exact day of the show, which I really try to do. And with this week's episode and the next week's episode, what if Killmonger and Iron Man teamed up? We are running a little behind, and that has to do with my work schedule and a little bit of hecticness in my life. So everything helps, goes a long way, and I will always be here to cover every Marvel show just on my best time for me, and so I can be happy with my review and what I put out to the world and to you, because I respect you and your time. And I hope you have a great day, Marvel Maniacs, or a great night, or wherever it is in the world you are, what time it is, Avengers. Until next time, disassemble.